Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Simona Kutoni and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Justin Trudeau receives cold welcome from pro-freedom protesters in Vancouver. Canadian miner Kinross Gold selling Russian assets for $680 million as it exits country. Canada's national debt clock comes to Toronto. Toronto home sale prices fell slightly in March 2022. Ontario PCs to increase minimum wage to $15.50 if re-elected in June. Body found in creek in Toronto's Deer Park neighborhood. Quebec extends the mask mandate order for month of April amid rise in hospitalizations. IRCC continues to evaluate express entry options but will resume invitations in 2022. Tiger Woods says he's planning to play the Masters. Austin Matthews is cementing himself as the Hart Trophy frontrunner. So those were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. This past Tuesday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau received a cold welcome from 150 pro-freedom protesters on his way to a fundraiser in Vancouver, BC. This was one of the least 6 meetings and appearances the Prime Minister attended in Metro Vancouver from March 28 to 29, which included his pledge to lower Canada's carbon emissions by 40% by the year 2030. Trudeau being greeted by protesters wanting their liberties back certainly isn't out of the ordinary. Canadian miner Kinross Gold Corporation is selling all its assets in Russia as a growing number of companies withdraw from the country following the invasion of Ukraine. The Toronto-based gold miner said Tuesday it's selling 100% of its Russian assets to the Highland Gold Mining Group of companies and its affiliates for $680 million in cash. The company said Highland Gold is one of the largest gold mining companies in Russia, with mining operations in both areas where Kinross has assets. The transaction is subject to the approval of the Russian government. Would you believe that the Canadian federal government is more than $1 trillion in debt? Fun fact, it's true. Franco Terrazzano with the Canadian Taxpayer Federation has been driving the debt clock coast to coast across Canada to spread the message on Canada's debt situation. The numbers displayed on the truck are quite shocking, and every Canadian should be aware of this matter, with the federal government more than $1 trillion in debt. The average selling price of a Toronto home decreased slightly in March, bucking a trend which usually sees the market heat up as the spring approaches. The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board says the average selling price across all property types last month was $1.2 million. That marks a slight decline from February, when the average property changed hands for a record $1.3 million. The latest data released by the board this morning comes on the heel of the Bank of Canada hiking interest rates by 25 basis points last month. The Ontario Progressive Conservative government has said that if they re-elected in June, they will release the minimum wage by another 50 cents. Minister of Labour Monte McNaughton made the announcement on Tuesday afternoon, saying the wage increase would go into effect in early fall. This would bring Ontario's minimum wage to $15.50 an hour. Ontario Premier Doug Ford originally scraped a $15 minimum wage in 2018 after being elected into office. He argued at that time it would be too expensive for businesses, opting to instead raise it by 35 cents.
Today, I'm pleased to announce Ontario is raising the general minimum wage to $15.50 per hour starting on October 1st, 2022. This 8% increase in 1 year will help workers keep up with rising inflation. It's one more way we're fighting for everyday people and delivering real positive change for over 700,000 workers in communities right across our province. This third raise in 1 year builds on our government's increase to $15 an hour in January 2022, when we joined labor leaders and announced we were also removing the lower minimum wage rate for liquor servers.
Toronto police say they are treating the discovery of a body in a creek in City's Deer Park neighborhood on Tuesday morning as a suspicious incident. The body was found in Yellow Creek near Heath and Yonge Streets at around 8:45 a.m. The firefighters were sent to the scene for a possible rescue, but ultimately left the scene in the hands of police a short time later. A cause of death has not been released at this point. Police continues to investigate. The Quebec government is reversing its decision to lift its mask mandate and will instead maintain the health order for indoor public spaces until at least the end of the month. Interim Public Health Director told reporters today in Quebec City he changed his recommendation due to the rise in COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations across the province. The government had said the mask mandate would be removed in all indoor public spaces except transit by mid-April. A recent internal memo by IRCC states the department remains undecided on its express entry plans for this year, but invitations to Federal Skilled Worker Program and the Canadian Experience class candidates will resume later in 2022. The Deputy Minister is the senior-most non-political official in each Canadian government department. Unlike the Minister, who is an elected official tasked with carrying out the government's political agenda, the Deputy Minister is responsible for providing the government with technocratic advice. The five-time champion at Augusta National made the announcement this morning. He will play 9 more practice holes on Wednesday before making a final decision, but will be doing so with the intention of playing Thursday. As of right now, Woods said, "I feel like I'm going to play." He had his 5th back surgery 2 months later and was recovering from that on February 23, 2021, when he crashed his SUV over a median on a suburban coastal road in LA and downside of a hill. "It's been a tough year, but here we are," Woods says. Austin Matthews had 3 goals to tie the franchisee single-season record for goals with 54, and the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 6-2 last night. Matthew, who also had an assist and extended his goal streak to 6 games, completed his 7th career hat-trick and 4th this season from the slot to give Toronto a 5-2 lead at 7:08 of the third. The center equaled Rick Wave's mark set in 1981-82. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Simone Cutoni, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Adios.